Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on the Space Couch today I'm going to be reviewing this, The Voyage of the Basilisk by Marie Brennan. This is the third of the memoirs of Lady Trent. The first one was A Natural History of Dragons, followed by The Tropic of Serpents. Now these memoirs, they're set in a world that's very similar to ours in their version of the Victorian era, where there are dragons still alive. Everything from tiny little dragons called sparklings through to great big huge flying dragons, sea snakes, all that sort of stuff. Very detailed descriptions of the anatomy of these dragons throughout all three of the books, and very detailed without being dull. You know, the depth to go into on these dragons is excellent, and there's like pencil sketches sprinkled throughout the text to help give it that journal feel. And also, the names of the various countries, I mean, they're very similar to ours, and the religions and the peoples of that world. For instance, the first book chronicles an expedition to what is Eastern Europe, shall we say. The names are very Italian and Russian in style. So that gives you an idea of the kind of terrain and cultures that you're dealing with. Now, that was A Natural History of Dragons. In the second book, The Tropic of Serpents, it's an expedition to their version of the African continent and the rainforest. Again, absolutely fantastic. And it ends with one of the characters proposing a round-the-world journey, which is what Voyage of the Basilisk chronicles. And so that journey takes them to places with very familiar sounding names, although not real ones. There's a place where you can clearly tell it's like Hong Kong and China in the time of the emperors. Other ones, it's clearly some sort of Asian or Arab country is referenced, although not with those terms. And it all plays out against the background of diplomatic intrigue, as the heiress to the throne of Skirland, which is essentially Princess Victoria as she was, and Great Britain, is on a goodwill mission around the world at the same time as the Basilisk is on its journey. Now, Lady Trent, or Mrs. Camhurst as she was then, and the crew of the Basilisk, they're marooned on, it's kind of like Hawaiian, Caribbean, South Pacific type of island. It's a merging of all of them. And as always, she still wants to explore for dragons, regardless of the fact if it's forbidden or not. In fact, the islanders actually think she is possessed by the soul of a dragon at one point, which is quite interesting. She always gets herself and her friends in trouble, of course. So there's secrets revealed about the ancient empire, their version of the Roman Empire, that ruled the world thousands of years previously, and what their links with dragons were. I think it's called the Draconis Empire. It's something very similar to that, where dragons were the centre of their belief system, and they wonder if maybe they tamed dragons back in the prehistory. So it's all about that. Very interesting. You come across different types of dragons. Standard air dragons, shall we say, giant sea serpents. At one point, she is actually, Mrs. Camhurst is riding under the water, clinging on to the side of this sea serpent. It's really funny. So yes, lots of adventures, interesting discoveries they make before this memoir concludes, including the rescue of that princess who has gone missing on that world tour, and that's all been kept hush-hush, and they discover her by accident. It's really good. Book 3 leaves open for another volume of memoirs, which I very much look forward to in due course. I really like the style of writing. It's like the old Victorian explorer diaries, but with less genocide and racism, shall we say. It is an excellent series of books that's nowhere near finished. Well, I mean, we haven't even seen all of the world. We haven't seen their versions of the American continents, let's see, Australia, other parts of Asia, shall we say, and the poles. I assume we will get to those in due course. The characters and this universe, it's completely believable. You really do feel that you're there. It's very authentic, and it makes these books a real pleasure to read. I thoroughly recommend them to you. Anyway guys, that's just my quick review of Voyage of the Basilisk, which I hope you enjoyed. As always, please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this, leave a comment or a suggestion, or hit that big high five.